Good morning, channel friends. Today's video is completely different from all the other tutorials you have seen on this channel for many years now. You see that here there are a nice little poof and a beautiful chair that have already been unstuffed, and another beautiful chair that unfortunately still has its stuffing. I say unfortunately because getting the stuffing removed from these two pieces took a while, but today I have a guest of honor who is a dear friend, a professional, a great master of high-end upholstery, who has reserved the honor of coming here with me to shoot this nice tutorial, as tomorrow there is a nice class here at my place, a class about this very thing, makeover combined with upholstery. We start from the base, create the padding structure, and finish with the fabrics, with the whole art of armchair restoration. Let me introduce you to Damiano.
Good morning, everyone.
Where are you from, Damiano?
I am from Bitonto, province of Bari.
And tell me, you're not very picky because you take all means of transportation to go all over Italy to many retailers to create these wonders in your courses, right?
Yes, it's true.
How many people do you want in your courses?
I would say a minimum of 8 and a maximum of 10.
Never say maximum because here you always exceed them. Let's say the requests.
Then there are the exceptional courses. Here at Elisa, 11, 12, you can't tell.
It's not clear because I don't feel like saying, no, you're like Christmas, you come once a year, and so I have to please people. So today you'll get an idea of what a course is. Of course, we won't show you everything because we can't. Since upholstery has to be explained face to face, there are so many things to understand, to learn, to make your own using your hands. It's not enough to just watch. You really have to be here with him. Also because depending on the chair, the technique completely changes, right?
Yes, unfortunately for each armchair model, everything changes.
Everything changes, the angles change, the straps change, the backrest changes, and so today we will give you an idea of what is needed, how to remove the padding, we will explain this, and a few little tricks. Let's start. When creating upholstery, the color rules, so I will let you lead the way, because the fabric rules.
Of course.
First, choose the style. Last night we did well and have chosen it. We will put this very classic Toile de jouy on the armchairs. It's in cotton, right?
Yes, of course, 100%.
A very beautiful cotton, which we will put on both the seat and the back, on the backrest, and then we will put this wool Pied de Poul, which I love, on the small pouf. Because, in my opinion, it looks very good, right? A slightly more eccentric combination. So, depending on the fabric, you choose the color. I say this thing about color, because while he shows you how to remove the upholstery from the chair, I stand over here and start painting the structures. So, the fabric has been chosen. I have no second thoughts. You know, sometimes we change our minds.
Great choice, great choice.
Let's go then. Let's remove it. In my opinion, you now make it clear at home which materials are needed to be able to burst a chair as difficult as this one.
Yes, unfortunately we are looking at an early 20th century armchair here. I say unfortunately because it is made with nails, and removing the nail is not the same as removing the staple. It's more difficult but still manageable. We need this staple and nail remover. This is the Mondial 307.
Is Mondial the name of the brand? Mondial is the brand. Otherwise, they find another brand.
I did not find any.
Because I have it bigger, but it's not enough, and smaller, but you want this.
This is for the tiny nails, precisely, and here we have tiny nails.
Do you see? Actually, there are several types of tools. This one has points and is smaller, and we need the smaller one here. If you can find it around in hardware stores, you are all set. Otherwise, you can also look for it online.
Yes, it is important. This can act as both a point and nail remover. Instead, this is just a remover for large nails. This is a remover for small nails.
So the 307 and a hammer and you are set.
Then we start removing, so I have to come to the front. Here, first of all, we have trimmings that acted as, let's say, stitch covers, right? Thus, we carefully remove the trim. You see, it's actually very old, so the trimmings have completely worn out. And we can already use it. In fact, a word of caution on this nail remover. Basically, to avoid nicking the wood, we can put some paper tape around it, like this. Then we start removing the stitches like this. So we leave her underneath. I'm doing it now with arm strength, but if you don't have arm strength, use the hammer. So you get underneath the nail hammer and lever, okay? Lever.
While Damiano continues to carefully remove all the nails from the armchair, I start with the coloring process. Here, 90% of the nails have been removed, but some are still left. They remained because it would be, let's say, too difficult to remove them, or they broke, or let's say they would then create big holes. So in some cases, they can be left, as we will put new stitches. Remember the basics. When you start with little poufs, chair, armchairs, always have the legs up in the air. So we take the bench, flip it, and let's proceed to paint everything that we see below. This morning, Emma has already washed with Abba and already removed all the fat that was on the surface. Remember, Abba is hot water, baking soda, ammonia. Mix 1 liter of water, 2 to 3 tablespoons of baking soda, and half glass of ammonia. She thoroughly washed well with a very wrung out sponge and then rinsed. So my wood is nice and completely dry. I'm all set and I can start. I use a pointed brush, the dark sand, which will then be carefully paired with a beautiful patina that I will create with a new, innovative product. So I load my brush well with pure color. I use a round pointed brush that goes into all the indentations, and then I paint the structure. It will definitely need 2 coats because this wood is very dark anyway, and I want to achieve a nice and even base. So I proceed and carefully paint the pouf and the first armchair to which the padding has already been removed. Look at Damiano as he removes the first fabric layer. What was under here, Damiano? It seems it was well done at the time.
So over here we have basically this cotton wool. It's not even polyester. Then we do this cotton gauze, and then underneath the padding was made from horsehair. These were the materials of the time.
And so now they are, let's say, a shelter for bacteria and dust. And if you do the armchair, it is better to do everything again. It's way better and cleaner.
Let's say that polyurethane foam is antibacterial compared to vegetable products.
But the padding was well done, right?
It was done well. Traditionally, only the nobles would commission these types of artistic works from the upholsterer. It was a job that originated with the nobles, not with the common people.
So, my dear, you have even more responsibilities, huh? Let's make them perfect.
It's a technique that I learned anyway, but let's say that I refuse to do it because it takes too much time and I don't like long tasks.
So, let's say that if I were to reupholster an armchair using an old-fashioned upholstery technique, it would take me 2 days for an armchair, nails and all, and perhaps it would not be as comfortable as the upholstery you are going to do instead. Using a particular type of strap or material, the quality of the materials is very different.
Yes, because the padding has a different thickness and a different type of springiness, which unfortunately horsehair does not provide.
It doesn't. Okay, then let's work and then we show what we use.
We have reached the root by now.
I've done all I see here and now I do the other side.
And without a doubt, there will surely be some complications that I haven't yet encountered.
For example, observe the legs. Look here, you can see how many imperfections there are. So I'll do both the bottom part and the top part. And I'm going to carefully paint what I unfortunately forgot because I didn't see it at that moment. I'm going to finish both sides and the first coat.
Now, after removing the upholstery, we see the iron springs that are tied by these jute strings and are tied with a nail. Again, we keep these springs because we can reuse them in so many ways. So even if we want to make an upholstery with the old upholstery technique, they should not be thrown away, they should be cleaned. And then we also remove the jute straps that keep all the springs firmly in place.
Look how beautiful the armchairs are. Look at the end part of the leg. It has a kind of carved tulip. Beautiful. The front part is also really very, very beautiful. For this reason, it is absolutely essential to have a pointed brush because it is not challenging to color even in these very deep carvings. I covered with the first coat. And also remember that if you ever get bored in the future and need to go back to the main color, the wood color, with the paint remover, which is also biodegradable and therefore even better, you can easily remove the paint and there will be no problem. So it does not compromise any kind of structure. It does not ruin any antique furniture. Quite the opposite, indeed. Let's apply a new patina, a protection to the wood that will be preserved even better over the years. Of course, you don't sand, you remove the paint if you ever wanted to remove it. Let's paint everything well and apply the first coat to this structure as well. Second coat of dark sand on the structure. It covered it well, so it's just a touch-up.
Some transparent wax. Now, let's begin the strapping process. We're currently using a rigid and durable elastic strap specifically designed for seating. So I am stapling the elastic bands with a nail staple gun. placing the vertical ones, we place the horizontal ones, interlacing them like this. The other is done in reverse, one from above and another from below. And we continue like this for the whole chair. So, after completing the armchair, let's do the back.
Unfortunately, we have a small groove here that prevents us from nailing well.
I am using these lowerings to be able to put the strap on because the groove is actually too low.
Emma, beforehand you applied a nice coat of transparent wax. Our transparent wax has carnauba berry and beeswax in it. I remind you of this because don't think of it as a low-wear product. It is a very protective wax, applied at the base to allow for a good, let's say, area of work, even in case you want to lighten the patina I am about to make with the brand new graphite wax. It is a very beautiful wax. It is the same as the color of the pencil, the graphite of the pencil. We spread it with a pointed brush and play with these beautiful moldings that we have here. With such an armchair, I just had to give it a wax patina. I must do it. So, a first trick, guys, we have to go well inside our moldings.
If you do something like this, you are not doing a patina. This is a beautiful effect called dry brush that simply highlights the molding. But this is not what we want to do today. Today, we want to create a patina, and the patina is achieved by pressing the brush deep into the molding and dyeing it completely.
Then, we'll go and lighten it up. In a little while, you'll see the difference. But if I don't press deep enough, I can't create a patina, because when I will remove the excess, I will remove everything. So it is important to take a pointed brush like mine if you have moldings, and press down, go deep so that the wax goes everywhere. I do my whole chair, and Emma does her nice bench so that we get the job done a bit faster because Damiano won't wait for us. Remember that the longer the wax is in contact with the surface, the more it dyes, so you judge. I did this piece and now I will lighten it. Then I do a leg and lighten, another leg and I lighten. You have to go step by step. I take a cloth, I will use the flat side so that there are no wrinkles, and start lightening. As I said before, this is only the first step we will use today to lighten the patina we are creating. When the chair is all done, there will be a second step that I am about to show you. So you have to stay here and watch the whole process properly without skipping it. There you go. In case you don't like it, if by chance you have stained too much, you can take again the clear wax you used before at the base, a clean brush, drain it, and do this, just a quick velvety stroke, and with the cloth, you have to remove the excess again. Like magic, it becomes immediately clear. Look at this.
Our transparent wax is helping us, acting as an eraser.
Put on some nice music in the background, relax, and slowly do all the parts of your seat, because it is a nice, relaxing experience. You will see the patina with new eyes. It already looks perfect as it is, but it's not, because the last step that we do now, with the sponge to smooth surfaces, the very fine one, will help bring out a beautiful grain.
Come here and see. You can see how it lightens up.
The wax, you can see that by pressing some beautiful shades come out. Let's remove the dust.
Astonishing, isn't it? Let's pull a fast one together.
I do the round part first. And we do the molding at the bottom. Damiano, I'm always fascinated seeing your straps because I can imagine the comfort of the armchair.
Strapping is important because essentially it is the floor, and we have to install the entire roof above it, the rubber kit, and then, let's say, it must absorb the weight of the person. Therefore, you should never skimp on the straps of the seat.
You have to use quality straps, well-placed straps, maybe one extra for the structure, to cover. Sometimes we take old armchairs apart and see that there are 2 per side.
Yes, 3 times 2, like the multiplication table, that's all they did.
It is not quality. It is not supporting. Over the years, Damiano has perfected a very clever method to help people who have attended his classes and then go on to reproduce upholstery at home or on commission, because many professionals who do this for a living come to perfect their techniques with you. And then they do it for a living. Why has he patented this kit? Because you buy the kit and you can remake the armchair. The kit notably includes the unique padding he patented. What precisely is this one called?
Resonate for padding.
The resonate for padding is the last layer, completing and securing the fabric, a very important thing. The right size straps for your chair, the burlato or torcolo, which you won't use today because you don't need it, and you will explain everything later because you are an expert. The staples, for the staple gun, for the stapler that will be used for straps, for padding, everything.
You just have to use your hands.
So, depending on the size of your armchair, you buy the kit, either small, medium, or large.
Or customized.
Or customized, for very particular armchairs. Kits can be found on Elisa&MagicPaint and at MagicPaint retailers who keep it in stock and request it. If they don't have it, you go to them and book it, we'll deliver it.
Of course.
But especially from Damiano, the mastermind behind this great idea. Why? Because in the past, people had to look for the materials.
They sell the sheets.
Yes, but there's waste, and then people make mistakes because they don't have this manual skill, this ability to understand what the right materials are. But that's your secret.
This is the chef's secret, and we cannot tell you. So take a good look at how Damiano uses his kit, and if you want to try making an armchair, buy the kit. I'm going to paint.
Clearly the kit is squared and it has to be resized according to the type of armchair you are working on. In this case, the armchair is square, but when it is round, and there are more round armchairs than square ones, it must be shaped as precise as the seat, from the smallest to the largest. After doing the first one, we proceed to do all the other layers, doing the same procedure I used.
So on for all others.
We are putting on the last layer that will cover all the others, fixing it in the groove. And so I do this all around the perimeter. Finally, we will apply the resonate for padding, which covers all the rubber I placed underneath. Always precisely giving it the shape of the chair. So the resonate for padding does not need to be nailed, it just needs to be placed.
So it rhymes. The resonate should not be nailed but placed. Listen, what about the backrest?
We will indeed do the backrest later, at the very end. And this is the rubber for the backrest, which appears to be included in the kit.
This was the question you anticipated. What if I have a chair that doesn't have a backrest? I buy the kit and it has it.
One can, if so desired, also request just a kit for the sitting. Now let's test the seat. It's good. It's comfortable. As for the backrest, the process remains essentially the same. It is the same for the backrest itself. Like this. We are going to draw on it, cut it out, and then it will be fixed on top of the backrest. At this point, we cut a piece of fabric that is clearly larger than the size of the chair, and we fix it permanently to the seat of the armchair. Let's center the design well, in this case, at the center. Let's secure it in the 4 cardinal points in order to frame it well and pull it tight enough. Now we go straight to the corners by making some cuts in order to adjust the leg well here. After we've stopped and carefully framed everything, we are now going to meticulously sew it definitively inside the indentation. We do the same operation on the entire perimeter of the chair. For the bench, the layers will be 3. The procedure is the same as for the armchair seat, and we will close it with a Pied de Poul on top. This way. So beautiful. After nailing down all the upholstery, we are going to apply and put on a trim to cover, okay? And we are going to put it along the perimeter of the chair using an acetavinyl glue. In this case, I use Saratoga's Unix Universal Glue, which is very good. It gives you the possibility, let's say, since it doesn't dry quickly, to still be able to move it or change sections. I start from this point. And I use some pins. I put only as much as is needed, no more, no less. I put a good layer of it. continue carefully like this all around the edge of the chair.
So let's begin telling people at home that this is finished, and the little pouf is finished too. We have to finish the last one. But we start to say goodbye to them. We are tired because we also did a lot of work on the structures. We took off the old upholstery, we painted, we repainted, we applied wax. The patina, it's beautiful, but it takes time and it needs to be done carefully because when a person sits down, they see the whole thing up close. I ask you to tell us what you think about the upholstery, the restoration of armchairs and chairs, and if you think it's worth it. For me, yes, because in my opinion, when there are beautiful houses, perhaps just renovated or even new apartments, an armchair with that kind of look completely changes the vision of the entire room.
Among other things, they're important original pieces representing a historical period.
It is a very significant piece of history to save, so it is true it takes commitment to do something like this, but there is nothing like it. They are unique pieces and that's it, compared to anything that you can buy, also more valuable.
And they are industrially replicated, while these were made by craftsmen.
Exactly. I am very happy to have had Damiano here, but now I will set them, not now tomorrow. So we finish the armchair. Then I will set it, and you will have already left. So I'll end the video myself. However, the rule is, I must always show how pieces look in a house to give an idea to those who follow me. Can we show them something?
Sure, here it is. The gem is the back of the back seat. It is nothing but the fabric of the small bench, a Pied de Poul.
He loves to frequently make these solid color associations with patterns, simply because they downplay and make even the most elegant, perhaps pompous, seating very modern. In my opinion, it's a fantastic thing to copy, so please follow Damiano. His page is called Damiano Bitritto Artivita. Also follow our page, the Magic Paint page, because there are often, let's say, collaborations with many retailers who host Damiano with his courses. And the I Love Magic Paint group because there are Damiano's creations and many followers who opt to combine Magic Paint with Damiano's upholstery.
A real gem, a perfect union, I would say. How many years have we been doing these things?
It's been 6 years.
It's not bad, huh? See you at the next makeover.
Bye.
Bye. Why reupholster armchairs as Damiano teaches us? First of all, he is a master of upholstery. It's indeed a delightfully fluffy, absolutely perfect panettone that won't lose its volume over the years. In fact, Damiano explained to me that with this type of padding, with this type of kit, of clusters, he will only lose 5% in 10 years. That's nothing. 2. Where do you buy such beautiful new armchairs? It's impossible to have this charm, these details. And how about the fact you did them yourself? It changes everything. So you can't buy something so beautiful you don't find it around. 2, comfortable because they are comfortable. Now that I've sat, my back is rested, it also heals sciatica. That's it, I like it, it's in my house. I don't know if you remember this piece, there's a tutorial about it, they look very good. So take everything I showed you in this tutorial with Damiano and make it your own. Change the fabric if you don't like it. Change the colors if you don't like them, and change the style of the chairs if you don't like them. But save and recover the old armchairs. Try to understand how it's done. Damiano will be around visiting all the Italian Magic Paint retailers as a master upholsterer. Ask your nearest Magic Paint retailer if they will host courses with Master Damiano and have fun, because the upholstery is truly a new frontier, obviously combined with makeovers with Magic Paint. Write to me in the comments if you like this tutorial, different from usual. See you next time. Bye.